As part of this video series, we will also gain the insight of an experienced barrister, Adam Guy, as well as an experienced industrial relations lawyer, Stanley Koulouris, who both have a number of years of experience working in employment law and being part of ADR processes in resolving workplace disputes.
Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, can you just tell us a bit about your experience and background, please?
Yeah, certainly, mate. So I'm a barrister at HB Higgins Chambers, which is a specialist law where there's only 10 of us. And we primarily do employment and industrial relations law. And what I would sort of describe as associated employment and industrial sort of areas of law as well. So that includes work health and safety, administrative law, a bit of judicial review, and then from time to time we sort of move into the commercial and equity divisions of the Supreme Court if something crops up, but usually it's got sort of an employment flavour to it. So that's what we do. I've been a practitioner for actually in a week's time, 12 years, and before coming to the bar in 2018, I was a legal officer for a variety of trade unions. I started my career working for an organisation called the Australian International Pilots Association that represents Qantas pilots, before moving on to the Transport Workers Union, where I spent a good 5 years acting for everybody from bus drivers to truck drivers to baggage handlers to everybody in between in the transport industry. And then I spent a year at the Association of Professional Scientists, Managers and Engineers, looking after specialist coal staff. And I did that for a year before taking the plunge, doing the bar exam and coming to the bar and practicing almost exclusively in employment and industrial law. So yeah, that's me.
So firstly, can you please tell us a bit about your experience and background?
Sure. Well, firstly, thank you very much, AM, for having me. You and I have sort of talked about this ad nauseum over the last few months.
Yeah.
But certainly, I can give you a little bit of background, a little bit about my background. So I started off in industrial relations and employment law way back in the early noughties. I think it was 2002 after I finished law school. I went into the trade union movement and I worked for effectively the last 20 odd years as an industrial officer, which is a historical term that the unions use to refer to their industrial and employment law specialists. And so I worked as an industrial officer for effectively the last 20 odd years. I worked initially as an IO, so as an industrial officer, and then eventually for the last 10 or so years I've been a senior industrial officer. In amongst that, I also worked for a number of years as a solicitor. I was employed with Slater and Gordon in their employment and industrial relations legal team. So yeah, that's my background. As you probably note from the experience that I've got a bachelor in employment law and a graduate diploma in legal practice. I'm currently 2/3 of the way through my master's